young people, gonna talk about some body language here. Happy Veterans Day. Old Glory's out there flying. We'll get her in the picture in a minute here. I just want to start with this picture here. And the bright light out here, if I move my body, I can shade some of that reflection off the light. Look at the body language of these two at this meeting, man. When I saw this picture, I was like, wow. You talk about difference in are they welcoming, are they like each other, etc. Notice the shoulders aren't facing each other. They're kind of postured away from each other. I mean, there's all kind of body language going on here just in this still shot. Hands are together. A lot of people say that's a power position, that's a control, that's a defensive. You're keeping a barrier between your enemy. You know, I teach keeping your hands in a fighting position up by your face so you can protect your throat, face, neck area. Keeping the hands in front of you is a non-subtle way of doing that same thing. They're not looking at each other, they're both looking away from each other. I mean, when I saw this picture, I'm talking about these two guys are not comfortable. They don't like each other. They're putting on a show. There's a couple other pictures in here that I got that I saw probably not as good. Now, if you look at Michelle and Trump's wife here, I don't want to butcher her name, Bianca or whatever. I can't say her name. Anyway, she's smoking anyway. So anyway, if you look at these two, notice their knees are more facing forward. They're more open. They're squaring the shoulders more to each other. They're facing each other. You know, there's just a very different view of these two talking and the other two sitting. Now, obviously, they weren't communicating, and you can make what you want out of this. But I'm going to talk about body language. This picture right here, man, I was just like, what a disrespectful, arrogant piece of shit Obama is. He's going to shake his hand and look away. You don't even look a man in his eyes when you shake his hand. I mean, just don't shake his hand, dude. I mean, but you're going to shake your hand, keep your body away, and look, and just very, very disrespectful handshake. And I'm going to talk about body language more when somebody's lying. What was some other pictures I had here? Again, this picture right here, I think Trump is more... see, his shoulders are kind of laxed. He's not being as arrogant. This is a more arrogant pose. Hands, broad hands, look at me. Trump's kind of sitting there very... what's the word I was looking for? When I looked at the picture, it immediately came to mind. Gosh darn it. Just gracious and kind of humble. Humble is the word I'm looking for. He's just a more gracious and humble stance sitting there than here. I'm sure, you know, damn liberals will be here. Oh, that's because he's white and he's black. Shut up, you freaking idiots. You can't see anything past color. The handshake here, again, very, I see Obama's face, his body language. Look at the other hand kind of keeping his distance. His left hand is open, like, don't try anything. This is a clue that he really doesn't probably know he's giving. He may know it, but most body language is second nature. It's subconscious. You don't really think about it. Again, Trump's leaning in, reaching in, his hands open, coming in to shake his hand. Just a much more sincere reaction from Trump versus Obama. So anyway, I wanted to do that. So let's get this spun around here so I can talk about get old Glory flying up there. And we'll talk about body language. And I'm going to discuss a few things about it. So, in body language, I remember, and I'm going to do a crazy cop story, when I was in academy, there was this one punk-ass lieutenant. He worked for Fish and Game, and he just thought he was all that because he was in academy, and he got to yell at all the cadets and everything, and I'm just like, I didn't like the guy from Jump Street because he was an arrogant punk, not to mention that he abused his position. I ended up turning him in at the end of the academy because he was rubbing up against girls' titties while he inspected them and then bragging about it. I used to instruct at this academy, and I never saw this because I just went there, taught a couple classes, and left. And then when I went through the academy, at that academy, man, I just saw how they treated people and things that were going on behind the scenes, and I was just like, and that was Napa Valley Academy. I wouldn't recommend it at all. Any academy, I'll get into academies later, but let's get into body language. So one time, me and this lieutenant were kind of he was calling me out about something because I was like, that's kind of bullshit. They were doing something in the middle of learning about deadly force. He had guys doing push-ups, had them out in the rain, and they had to come in. They were shivering. It was cold. And he was up there trying to teach deadly force. And I was like, you know what? These kids are in here to learn about this critical topic, and he's playing these little head games of having them shake. I said, that's just inappropriate. So we had kind of a standing, and when I was in there, I had to stand at parade rest. So I'm standing here at parade rest, and he's in my face, and you got a problem with me, Mr. Gore? You got it. And he's right in my face, and I'm like, no, I ain't got a problem. And I'm doing this. And this is a very nonverbal thing. I didn't realize I was doing it so, overtly to where it was a conscious thing. But I was leaning back though, you know what? And I'm thinking, I'd whip your freaking ass in about 2 seconds if you weren't sitting here and you didn't have the power of the position right now and I'm in the academy. So, and he called me out on it. He goes, why are you rocking back on your shoulders? You trying to disrespect me? And I'm like, nope, just standing here, sir. And so, I mean, we kind of had that out. And as cops, you really learn to use body language very, very, it's a survival skill. 80% of all communication is nonverbal. I mean, people think words are there. Words mean a lot, but man, I can tell right through your nonverbal. Man, it's freaking nippy out here. It's like 52 degrees. I got my Crocs on, no socks. Woo! So, when you're talking, I use my hands a lot. People that don't use their hands and control their hand and talk like this, they say they're a little bit less believable. They're not as invested in their comments. They're not as being as honest as someone who is open and using their hands. Somebody that uses their hands and body language is being more open and more honest is what they say. Not all the time. I mean, somebody can fake it and go, I'm going to over-exaggerate my body language. This is the truth. You got to listen. And then, then it becomes a non-fluid, non-natural body reaction. I remember when I was in college, we were taking classes on speeches and all this stuff. We'd have to put in little comments like on certain body maneuvers. So at this point, it would be look up at the audience and smile. So you're going down your list and you're new and you're not really that good at speaking, and so you got a little clue there. Look up, smile. So you would very notice people going, and this is the topic. And then they go right back down. So it was very unnatural, and it was easy for everybody to see that that was planned. Now, as you lie consistently like politicians do, it becomes more normal. So it takes a little bit better reader to understand when somebody's lying. So, watching the debates and when you're dealing with people on the streets, I mean, cops, nobody has more experience of people lying than cops. Maybe judges, but people are less likely to lie in court than they are to cops on the street. Cops get lied to 90% of the time, and we know that. And we start putting clues together, and we learn that, you know what, last time a guy did this, he was lying, and last time he did this, I call it the shuffle for the ID card. Hey, you got any ID? No, I don't. That's a dead giveaway. People don't do that. Either you have ID and you know where it's at, or you do the, holy shit, let me distract and look like I'm looking like the ID. And crooks don't get it, but cops learn over time, when somebody starts doing an ID shuffle, they're wanted, they don't want you to know their ID, they're going to give you a false name, they don't have any ID on them because they got a warrant. You immediately, in 2 seconds, you know something's up because you've dealt with enough people that's done that, and you end up arresting 90% of them. So I know it's racist, it's profiling, it's whatever. Common sense is a superpower, and it's outlawed in liberal land. So but you understand through life, through progression, through experience. Remember, experience is the best teacher. That when something happens consistently over time, it's reasonable to predict what's going to happen next. If every time you walk through a black neighborhood you get robbed 10 times and you walk through there 10 times, is it reasonable that you're going to get robbed when you walk through there, or is it racist? If you ask an idiot liberal, they'll say it's racist in its color. If you ask most normal people, it's like, I don't give a shit what you call it. When I walk through there, I get robbed. I'm either not going to walk through there, or when I walk through there, I'm going to be armed, and I'm going to make them the victim, and I'm tired of being a victim. So, understanding that cops, and again, cops kind of we get this distorted look at the world that everybody's lying, and we don't trust anybody, and we're always looking for those clues of lies and deception, because our life depends on it. And horses, they don't have a verbal, they have a little verbal language, but most of their communication is non-verbal. Body position, tail, head, eyes, how their ears are, neck, whether they're showing the flank, whether they're squaring off, whether they're showing you your butt to give you a kick. So there's all kind of body language in horses. People who understand that don't get kicked as often as people that don't understand it. When you ride a horse that bows up, that gets tense, that curls up, that you can tell he's nervous, his head goes up, he gets puffy and buffed up on you, you know, you good experienced horsemen know that's a clue that I need to back up or I need to figure out what's going on here because this horse is telling me something's going on. Idiots who are instructors and trainers in a horse world wearing their helmets will be run around and go, oh, just get on him, man up, cowboy, I'll show him who's boss. They'll give you all this dumbass advice, then you end up getting hurt and you blame the helmet. So in the horse world, I'm always on my horse channel talking about body language, recognizing clues, being aware on what you're looking at. And in cops, it's the same way. We have to understand. We got to know when they're going for a weapon. If you ask me for my wallet, and I go, sure, here's my wallet, here's my ID. Now, if you ask me for my wallet, and instead of reaching for this back pocket, very small difference, I reach for the center of my back, that's a big clue. If you miss that clue, you could be dead. So when cops ask for people for ID, guess what? We're watching how they reach for it. So some of the other clues that people are lying, that's a big clue when I'm interviewing in a room. And again, they're different. Out on the streets, you'll get that target glance, where's my escape path? As I'm talking to the cop, I'm looking for a buddy who's going to ride. I'm looking for a fence I can jump. I'm looking for how far. I'm looking to see if he has backup. If he's behind, I'm sizing up the cop to see if he looks like he can chase me, if he's going to chase me, if he's got his radio, if he doesn't care, if his gear looks like shit, if his uniform looks like shit, if he's eating a donut while he's talking to me. I was always drinking people. When I talk to people on the street, I always got in the car with a glass of water. And I was always drinking water. And if something went down, the water went on them, the cup went on them. It was a good distractor. Other people would be like, why do you got your hands tied up? You should have your hands open. He's always got a glass of water. He's unsafe. Whatever. You know what? It was a distraction for me. I can put it between me. I can throw it at you. I can do things. And I had to drink a lot of fluids because I was getting it out of the car, sweating a lot. So, body language. We have closed body language, protective body language, defensive body language, aggressive body language. So they're all different things that we're moving. When we're interviewing somebody in an interview room and they're kind of stuck behind a chair, we lose a lot of things. They know they can't run, so they're not giving us target glance. We know they can't get up and take off, and they know that. So they're kind of in this confined area. And when you confine somebody, you shrink their body language. You don't give them the ability. So sometimes we would interview people, I didn't want a table. Other times I wanted a table. I wanted that barrier between us. I wanted that dominance. I wanted two of us on one side and one on the other. So those are things we planned out when we went in there. If a guy responded to that, if he was a decent, I'm telling you, man, I've met better felons that I put in prison that have more ethics than a lot of attorneys that I've met. They're just more upright, standing people. You know where you stand. They say it like it is. They don't want to cooperate. Fuck you. I got a code. I ain't turning in my brother. I mean, you just know where they stand, and they're better people because they don't sit there and try to bullshit and lie. Now, believe me, there's a lot of crooks that do lie. So what are you looking for when somebody's lying to you? If you look online, and I did a quick search on body language, you can do deceptive body language, and there's some good little indicators on there. But if you just do body language, you're going to get all this female crap about how you can tell if a guy likes you, and how a woman sends a signal to a guy that he likes her, and how she flicks her hair, and how the guy adjusts his tie, and you get all this other crap about relationships, but you don't get into survival and lying. And cops are dealt with body language, survival, and lying. When I evaluate, when I come into a new area, if you watch a lot of the shows, Black Hawk Down, the ones that I talk about that are good tactics, The Walking Dead, good tactics, the Revolution series on TV, good tactics, you start picking up kind of how they've got some good acting on there. When they walk into areas, their defensiveness goes up. The hair on the back of the neck stands up. They don't just wander in nonchalant without worrying about things. They keep their back to the wall. They walk in slowly. When they get to the door, they stand to the side and they evaluate the room. Cops always, when we walk in, we're always evaluating the room. Somebody about to rob the place, is somebody about to do something. We like sitting with our back to the wall so we know nobody's going to walk up behind us, stick our gun in their ear, try to take our gun. In uniform or out of uniform, still thing. I still like to sit with my back to the wall a little bit and go, you know what, it protects me. If I'm setting up a defensive area, hey, if I got water on that side, it's easier to watch somebody approaching from the water than it is from here. Now, obviously, you got scuba gear and other things, but body language, the things you're looking for. Hands by the head, mouth, ears are usually deception. That's kind of a lie detector thing. If somebody is talking to you and they're doing this and they're doing this, if you're talking and they're doing this, they're saying you're kind of full of shit. If they're talking and their hands are by their mouth, they kind of want to go as a kid, speak no evil, hear no evil, see no evil. As they get around their eyes, ears, and nose, or mouth, they're trying to either suppress what they're hearing or suppress what they're saying. That's a clue. That in and of itself, one thing is not, remember, it's totality of circumstances. You can't take the whole picture and just look at one part. So body language is one of those things that, I mean, when I see pictures and I see videos and I watch, most cops, when we look at that, we're like, he's lying. People are like, you can't say that. You know, how do you know? You don't know. Well, you know what? We do know. And over experience and time of watching people lie and their eye blinks and they lick their lips and they're looking around and their body language either encloses or open, and that picture of Obama and them, they squared. When you're talking to somebody and you're communicating, you look them in the eye and you square off on them. I don't talk to you like this. Yeah. Okay, yeah. How would you like it if I was talking to you and I'm talking to you? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. You can tell that's just very disrespectful. I'm telling you that I'm not giving you the time of day. I'm not understanding where you're coming from. I'm not, I mean, respect is kind of the word, but I don't want to get it into he's disrespecting, he's respecting. But body language is there. And when you walk through a neighborhood, if you walk through a situation in a riot, your body language, if you're walking through like a freaking liberal, look at the pretty lights, then you're going to be a freaking victim looking for a place to happen. But if you're walking through with a mask and you're carrying a Molotov cocktail and a club in the other hand, and you're walking through looking for a victim, you're going to be treated different than the victim running around. So the body language on Obama and them just really struck me as kind of like, wow, that's amazing how disrespectful they were just in their body language, how much disagreement, how much they didn't like each other, how much they weren't on the same page, all kind of things. And I was just like, man, that's kind of, whew, to me it just stuck out. So I figured I'd do a quick one, or try to do a quick one. It's probably went longer than I want, but on body language, understanding it, when people cross their arms, they're putting up defensive. When fighters, they have their hands up here. If I don't want to look like a fighter, I want to have my hands here. If you're talking to me, my hands are going to be here. I'm creating a barrier. My hands are going to be up here. I may be scratching my face. You may think I don't want to hear. I'm thinking, you know what? I've got my hand right here. If he moves something, I'm going to freaking just throat punch him. Or I'm going to stab him in the eyes, or I'm going to take my thumb and jam it in his eye. And I want the shortest distance, so the closer my hand is to his face, if something goes down, I want my hands high. But I don't want to look like, hey, dude. I mean, I've had people, don't come any closer. Hey, I don't want any problems. And when guys do that to cops, I'm immediately like, hey, I'm getting my gun out. I'm like, dude, do not freaking square off. Do not put your hands, because he's getting in that stance to where I can either go for a gun, I'm in a fighter stance, I'm going to grab you, I'm warning you. If you come any closer, there's going to be consequences. So when hands come up like this, you know, black people want to run around, hands up, don't shoot. Well, this hands up is not threatening. This hands up is threatening. Okay, so there's a big difference in the two, but somebody who's an Indian will be like, he had his hands up. Yeah, he did have his hands up. But there's a hell of a lot of difference between this hands up and this hands up. Alright, so hopefully that gives you a little idea on how to evaluate and look. You can read up online. And we'll end that there on this nice Veteran Day. Old Glory flying. New president who doesn't hate the country, who's not always bad-mouthing the country. And happy Veterans Day to all the vets out there. One's here and gone. We'll end that there.